Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with the other host,
Tristan Walter.
And hot damn, Tristan, we're doing something very different for Anna Saturday. We've been doing, so recently, as many of you have noticed, for Anna Saturday, we haven't been doing American animation. We've been doing a lot of Japanese animation. And we decided to pick up something that I never thought we'd actually do on the show. I'm going to be real with you. We're doing Disney's Dinosaur. And the reason why I never thought of doing this is because I thought that it was just fine. You know, we were just fine with playing the game, right? The game was terrible, and that's okay. Turns out, the movie isn't bad at all.
Yes.
I mean, there's some things I'm going to complain about because that's what we do here.
Of course you are.
But, yeah, but it wasn't, yes, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a terrible... No, it's fine. It's true. It just wasn't a terrible
film. Stop
film.
my childhood, Matt. You're angering me. Stop it.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. You're right. Disney's Dinosaur the game was one of the best games ever created.
No, not the game. Fuck that. I mean the movie.
Now, here's what I am frustrated about, though, and this has nothing to do with the movie at all. I think we made a mistake doing this now because I realized two things. One, I liked a world where my voice for every character were the official voices. Now I know it. Now I know their real voices, and I have to try hard not to do their voices. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch our episodes before doing a new one, and really focus on the voices I did, so that I don't get corrupted by these good actors.
Right.
No, they're great. I actually really like the actors. What I also like, by the way, is all the actors have experience, minus the little girl that did like the little tiny dinosaur, the little tiny one with Aladar's group. Not dinosaur. I'm sorry, the little tiny monkey. I meant monkey, not dinosaur.
Yeah, lemur.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, I was a little tiny lemur. Other than her, hey, it doesn't matter what I call them because they didn't actually exist then. Anyway. They did not.
They did not.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, no. That's one thing the movie got
Matt,
wrong.
this
Matt,
is totally historically accurate. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's how I feel. Other than her, because she was so young, so obviously it's hard to be like, oh, my God, she's amazing, although she became an amazing actress, and I'll talk about some of her other roles a little bit later. But still, right, they're all great actors and actresses, and they were all well known in terms of, like, they all, at that point and even later, had many roles, right? So they're not just known for Disney's Dinosaur. But to me personally, they aren't known. And I'm sorry if everyone sits there and goes, no, but I know them, so damn it, Matt. And I'm like, okay, cool, you can know them from a television show that I don't. That's fine. I don't watch, like, CSI or all of those other, like, police procedurals. Or stuff from the UK, which was the actress that played, I can't remember her name. She's the old one. Old and British.
It's funny because I was about to say the dinosaur name, and I'm like, wait, that's not going to help him at all.
Yeah, thanks. No, but there's only one female that was old and British.
The Styracosaur with the horns and the frill, small and old.
Yes, the only one that's old and British, Tristan.
Okay.
Do you not know the name?
Do you mean the Brachiosaur or the Styracosaur? Well, I mean, yeah, she was more... Because neither of them really struck me as apparently British, but I guess the Brachiosaur, now that I think about it, yes. But no, she's the big one. Saying you're making this harder than it needs to be.
What? Wait a minute, you're telling me you didn't fucking hear that she was British. I'm going to find her name right now. You're telling me that Baleen wasn't British.
Baleen, yeah, you said small, not big. That's what threw me off.
I said, no, I didn't. I said large. No, I didn't. I said, wait, I'm confused. What? Yes, I said large. I didn't say she was a small dinosaur.
Oh, okay. I heard small. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm so fucking confused. I'm like, no, there were African American dinosaurs that were smaller.
Right.
Well, no, they were. They were African American women playing dinosaurs.
Right,
yeah,
playing the voice.
Because what was it, Ema, right, played by Della Reese. Della Reese is obviously very famous, so I'm sorry, I'm an ass for not pointing that out. But still, no, because here's the thing. When I say famous, right, because some of you might be wondering, like, Matt, what the fuck do you mean when you deem famous? I'm talking about, like, this came out in the year 2000, right? If you look at a lot of movies made by Disney, whenever you're like, oh, Disney animated film, to me, my first thought is, all right, so there's Jim Carrey, there's Angelina Jolie, there's, like, that's the thing. Like, Tom Hanks, you were mentioning Toy Story earlier off air as, like, one of your favorite Disney films, right? Oh, well, technically, technically it was Pixar originally, but still, animated films.
But yeah.
My point is that you were saying how it was one of your favorites. Tom Hanks was in it. Tom Hanks in no way was an unknown actor.
Right.
You know, like the amount of like the kind of actors that they get usually for movies like these, you know, I feel like they're very, very noticeable not only at the time but as time goes on. You know, like these Jim Carreys and I don't know, I can't think of any more, like Brad Pitt's. I don't know if they've ever gotten Brad Pitt, but still, my point is that, you know, very like big actors. And yes, Della Reese is a big actress, to be fair. But I look at the cast and you read off some of these names like, oh, D.B. Sweeney as Aladar, or Max Casella as Zini,
right.
Alfred Woodard is. Yeah, to me it doesn't come off as, oh, well, of course.
Right.
Like, that's just my take on it, you know?
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, right? There could be a lot of people that are like, no, but I remember them from this and this and this, because, believe me, plenty of roles and not just stuff in Disney.
Yeah.
Right? But, I mean, heck, you look at the guy that played Krong, who is Samuel E. Wright. And if you're like, have I heard that name before? It sounds somewhat familiar. He played Sebastian in The Little Mermaid.
There you go. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And by the way, not just in the movie, in the TV series, obviously he'd be around near 2000 when they made the sequel, because he was in this. In the sequel, which came out in 2000, in Disney's House of Mouse, he was Sebastian.
Right.
And in 2008, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning, which I never knew that was made, and frankly, I think my life was better because of it. But fuck it, he was in it. My God, that guy is dedicated to being Sebastian.
Yeah, God, he sounds like Anthony Daniels. It's like whenever there's a 3PO cameo, I'm on that shit.
Basically, right? He just sounds like Anthony Daniels as C-3PO. Also, same thing with the guy that played Jafar, where not only was he Jafar, in the movie, I believe he was Jafar in the TV series as well, but most importantly is when they had a live action, I don't know if it was the actual Broadway version, or I think it was the Broadway version as well, but before they had the Broadway version of Aladdin, when they needed a Jafar, it was the same voice actor.
Right.
So imagine being a voice actor for a character, and then them saying, okay, we're actually taking this, not on Broadway just yet, but we're making plays about this, and they're musicals. And he's like, I'm still Jafar, I'm good. Like, what? How fucking crazy is that? Also, by the way, Samuel E. White, not only being in the animated Disney universe, also being in the live action, I guess you can call it Disney universe, I guess, if you want to, because he played the part of Mufasa in the original cast of The Lion King on Broadway. So not only has he been Sebastian and Krong, he was Mufasa on Broadway. I love this man. So, yeah, no, but you look at the cast, and they work so well, but I think I'm happy to see that they're not, you know what I'm trying to say here? Like, when you think Disney, you're like, all right, what crazy celebrities are they going to get now, right? All these big money celebrities. But I think what may have happened, and no offense to this cast, but, I think what may have happened is they looked at the budget for the CGI, and they were like, we're not calling Tom Hanks. We're not calling Tom Hanks. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad they got the people who they did to do the voices, because I really I love Aladar's voice. It's funny, I didn't really think about it so much. Watching it again for this cast, I saw it maybe last year at some point, and I was like, it's okay. Like, it's not one of my, like, it is one of my favorites, but it was okay for a movie. And then I watched it again, like, this time, and I'm like, for whatever reason, I just sat back and, like, remembered all the things of why I loved it when I was younger, and it made it so much better for me.
Well,
like,
I mean, you literally just sat back.
Movie.
Yeah, you literally
true.
nostalgia goggles it. Because the first time you're like, all right, let me experience it new. Nah. Now this time you're like, wait, why did I like it as a kid? Right, that's why it's so much better.
But I mean, it's funny. Like, the reasons that I loved it as a kid are actually like a little bit deeper than the surface kind of thing. So
yeah, no, I understand. And look, let me be real with you, right? It's not a bad movie. Like, there were people online. I'm not online. I'm sorry. They were like the reviews were online, but obviously they were reviews back in the day when the movie came out, and it was like, oh, the plot is paper thin, and I'm like, definitely. But that doesn't make it a bad plot. It's just it's an hour 20 long movie that could have potentially even been shorter, to be fair.
Right.
But I mean, but again, it's a hard movie to make, because the second the meteors are coming down, I'm like, oh, cool, movie's over. And then it's like, no, they're still alive, and I'm like, yes, but for how long? We know how this ends. School teaches you how this ends.
Sometimes. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, unless you were in a Catholic school like I was. But they never taught it at all. I'm kidding. We learned about the dinosaurs. I'm kidding. The dinosaurs existed until God cast them out with their sin. No, I'm kidding.
Right, exactly. The fossils are only put in the ground to test your faith, Matt. That's why I'm a dirty heathen, and I'm trying to, bring you to the bowels of Satan. Anyway.
Satan was so much cooler till you mentioned his bowels. Now I'm good with that. I prefer the flatulence of God rather than the bowels of Satan. But it's so fun. Matt, where are we going from here? You think I have any fucking idea? But no,
well, good night,
it
everyone.
was a paper thin. Yeah, good night, everyone. No, that was the meteor hitting us. That was the fucking.
Yep.
Well, we brought up God. We brought up religion in the dinosaur. No, we brought up religion in the Disney's Dinosaur podcast. Well, that's our meteor. By the way, I knew that Zinni was going to get it's so funny, because I think I've seen so many Disney movies, you can tell what's coming next. So literally, no, because here's the thing. I'm pretty sure I may have even seen this movie in theaters. I'm going to be, or at the very, I may have. Yeah, here's the thing. Because if I didn't see it in theaters, what I can tell you, though, is my little brothers did get the toys. Because when I saw the design for the, the full-on design for the T-Rex, I was freaked the fuck out, because I was like, my brothers had that toy. I remember
it's a Carnotaur.
him.
Also.
Carnotaur, sorry. Thank you. I was like, I remember him.
Right.
Also, I thought Carnotaur was their, chuckling way of saying carnivore, and I know, I'm not saying none of them ate meat, but, because I know Aladar doesn't, I thought it was them, mispronouncing carnivore as a joke, because, they were all being funny.
That's an actual species of dinosaur.
My bad.
Carnotaurus.
So, yeah. By the way, how did you feel, before I mention some more of the actors, I want to ask you, how did you feel about the blend of CGI and live-action footage?
I think they did well with it, seeing as how, not like top-tier budget Disney movie, and being at 2000.
Right. Now, did it upset you?
I think the only time that I really looked and obviously it's CG, but I'm like, yeah, I kind of really no, that hit me is when the beginning of the movie when the Carnotaur bursts out of the jungle. The rest of the time I feel like the characters were either far enough away or there was something else going on, so you didn't realize it as much, kind of thing.
Yes. For me, I think the biggest moment was when the matriarch, I can't remember her name, she was holding young baby Aladar, and the shadows just didn't mesh up right.
Oh, Pleo?
Yes.
For
Pleo,
the lemurs?
when she was holding,
yeah.
yes, lemurs. When she was holding Aladar, you can just like baby Aladar. You can tell like it just didn't mesh well. Because like other things, I don't know why. Maybe because like the way they would recolor, even if they like filmed the grass normally, they'd recolor it in post or something, so it would all look smoother, in my opinion at least. But that first, I don't know why, just that first scene, it really sticks out to me. Even watching the movie now in the background, as I usually do, even when I really try to focus, it just doesn't really hurt. Like, it doesn't hurt. Like, I don't feel like, oh, God, no. But, like, that one scene, maybe because it was light in some areas, it was daytime, it was just weird. Yeah. Now, one thing I want to say is, I wanted to ask you, did it upset you in any way? And I know you obviously don't know how things looked back in the day, right, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. I know you'll obviously see recreations, but, like, you weren't there, right?
Right.
But when you see them not recreating, just, like, filming, clearly in 2000, and, of course, if you see the end of the ending credits, you can see that they filmed in, like, Australia and, like, a bunch of other places. Does it feel weird
New
to you
Zealand
that you're
was
just
a big
sitting
one,
there?
too.
New Zealand, yes. So do you feel weird about, like, them sitting there and being like, it's just like it was in ancient times? Motherfucker, that's New Zealand. Did that, like, make you feel weird? Like, things didn't look like they do in 2000 New Zealand?
Well, I mean, honestly, a lot of...
Or did you just like the feel? Did you just like the actual, like, the fact that they tried?
I like the feel, and a lot of the landscapes that they did, I mean, they never really, it's not like they went into detail of, oh, this is where this is taking place millions of years ago. If they had done that, then it might have been a little more like you're not meshing up the environment correctly. But they just went with, nondescript, like, we're on planet Earth with the dinosaurs. So
got it.
The landscapes that they chose meshed up well enough with that, with environments that they probably would have been in. So
right.
Yeah, it didn't bother me really. And I feel like of all the choices, like New Zealand and Australia, like they've obviously had geologic change over, millions of years, but probably some of the best preserved, like, older environments, I would say. So I think they chose filming locations well.
Yes, there's some trouble on my end hearing you. I don't know if the fans weren't able to hear you during that point. You're talking about specifically Australia that seems to be more preserved than, like, compared to some other places they could have filmed in. If the opening scene was in Australia, I'm not sure where the opening scene was. We're just saying Australia, New Zealand.
That canyon that the Quetzalcoatlus flies over, that was definitely New Zealand. Like, I remember looking in the special features and stuff like that. They were definitely in New Zealand for that scene.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yes. So I definitely enjoyed them trying. It's just that as they were flying through, my first thought was, this is not how everything looked. Although, again, I like them trying to kind of mesh in both because, I mean, I think they just did enough. Like, they did what they could, the best they could, with both. Both like, making CGI areas and meshing stuff up, that I think they did a good job, I would argue. Where, like, obviously there's some parts you can go, right, yes, this is the CGI part, right? But at the same time, I don't think it was that fake, quote-unquote, looking. Like, clearly, obviously it was a Disney budget, so they fucking spent a lot of money.
Right.
But even when they meshed up stuff well, again, you can tell that obviously, yes, dinosaur CGI. No shit, 2000, right? Regardless of how good your budget is, 2000. But I still don't think it stuck out as much as it could have. Like, as much as I love Jurassic Park, that definitely, and obviously it's because there's humans there, and I think that's probably why it hurts our eyes a little bit, despite the fact that I like the opening CGI for Jurassic Park, and even, the point when the T-Rex, like, destroys the car and everything. As much as I love those scenes, I think because it's super real all around it, it kind of looks weird. But what I do also really enjoy is there were certain scenes, like when they showed the egg, right? Like, the first person looking at the egg, at the egg, and that was a real egg. Like, they actually made the egg.
Yeah.
Or right now, Aladar is looking at the destroyed, the ruins, right? And he's looking at all the branches, and I'm like, those branches are real.
Yeah.
Like, and like not everything, I think, but like many first-person shots were real.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing to see, like that blend of both, because I'm sure other movies tried. I'm not going to say that they didn't, but I think this did a very good job of blending both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
now
did
one
too.
thing Now, one thing I want to mention, some of the critics said that they didn't like that the dinosaurs talked. Now, I want to say that confuses me because, I don't want to, like, sit there and be like, well, Roger Ebert, like, what do you – but, like, I have to be very honest, though. What? Like, what else would they – would have you had an hour-and-a-half movie of dinosaurs not talking?
It's funny because there was a movie that came out a few years ago. Not like 2000, a few years ago. I mean, like probably 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there. And it was called, I believe it was called Walking with Dinosaurs. And I remembered the 2005, like, BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs. And that was an actual, like, kind of documentary that they put together.
Right.
So when this was a kids movie, and the dinosaurs talked, but and they did the same thing with like the carnivores, like they just roared and whatever. But it was more realistic. Like the dinosaurs weren't as cartoony as they are here in Disney's Dinosaur. They were more like Walking with Dinosaurs, and that's cool, but their voices were cartoony. Now what I mean by that is, in this movie, yes, they have their, like, silly moments here and there. You have, like, maybe it's not as silly if you really think about it, but, like, Zinni's cat calling and shit, stuff like that. Like, stupid stuff that they put in a movie to make it funny.
Yeah,
at the time.
And also remember, right? As much as we don't like catcalling, this was made in 1998. It came out in 2000, made like 98, 99.
Right.
So sadly, that's considered humor at the time, right? So I understand why you're calling it, like silly stuff that like obviously isn't like, like the mating stuff earlier, like the mating call with the rose, like that's not silly. That's actually what they potentially do to mate, right? But like shit like that, just Zinni being Zinni, really, and also just having, or like
some
quote unquote silly
the
stuff.
Ankylosaurus, like bringing, like fetching rocks like a dog. They do silly things like that obviously aren't correct. But
right.
In this newer movie, their voice, like the actors, it felt like they were speaking cartoonish. Like they weren't, like Aladar sounds like a normal person
guy.
When he speaks, like a normal guy, kind of. He's not like, hey, let's go on an adventure, guys, or like, don't worry, it'll be all right. It's like, I'm gonna go beat up this shit like that. They felt like actual characters and actual people. Granted, they were dinosaurs, but personification. Bear with me.
I know. Yes.
So when, the dinosaurs, arguably, I'd say they did it better with an older film than they did it in this newer film. Because when I saw it, like I said, it looked like, BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs, and I freaked out. I'm like, oh, they're making like a kids movie, but like more realistic and like, oh, this is how they actually lived. I'm like, no, it's actually just them making like fart jokes with dinosaurs. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I think that they're okay. So when they said, "Oh yeah, more like they didn't enjoy it," they meant more like it felt realistic until like. I say this. It felt realistic until they started speaking. Like, the animation was great.
Right, until they started speaking. I see. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, which, I mean, but again, though, like, I feel like no kid would have went to see this movie. If you're making it for kids,
right.
no kid would have seen it if there was no dialogue. And the reason why I say that is because it's not like there's, a human surrogate or something. It's not like there's, I don't know, like I feel like if this entire movie was done without any dialogue whatsoever, it would just be a nature documentary.
Right.
Which isn't a problem, because people who want to see, like, wow, how would the dinosaurs would have looked? That'd be great. But it's a Disney's, it's a Disney film.
And I mean, they've done stuff like that, though. That's the thing. Like, it's been newer, but, like, they've done it. I'm pretty sure they've done it with lemurs. They've done it with penguins. They've done it with different types of animals. And, like, you can have that kind of movie.
Yeah, wasn't it, like, Walk with the Penguins or something? Like, but
something
but didn't we
like
have Morgan Freeman narrating, though?
I believe so, yeah, or someone like that with a nice narration voice that is pleasant to listen to for 2 hours.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, imagine it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like the young dinosaurs walking through with the lemurs on his back.
And I mean,
like,
I feel like
it would have been
in a way you could still market that to kids.
I mean, look, I'm not saying you can't market it to kids. I'm just saying that I feel like people would be upset that there's no dialogue. Like, I know, like, the reviewers are like, oh, no dialogue, we get to see them live and everything. And, of course, people who really, really, really love dinosaurs would love it.
Yeah.
But, like, how do you get people who like dinosaurs but also want to see a Disney movie?
Yeah. No, I see. Like, that's what the critics, are kind of forgetting at that point. It's like, you do realize you're watching a children's movie, right?
Yeah. Now, granted, it doesn't mean that it should have a paper. It's not that it means it should have a paper-thin plot, though. So that's when we get to that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fair point. But the whole, like, they shouldn't have spoken because then it felt unrealistic. And it's just like, that's like saying Toy Story looked great, but then when the toys started talking, and it's just like,
the toys shouldn't talk. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Now, no one has said that, but still, my opinion is the equivalent of, like, yes, Disney Pixar, like, they make things that no supposed to talk.
Right.
That's what happened. That's how this works,
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But still, I just imagine, though, just as the lemurs right on the dinosaur's back. The dinosaur sees another dinosaur's sister.
Like,
they kind of like each other. Pretty cool.
Oh God. If we had that, just no dialogue in Disney's Dinosaur, but it's narrated by Morgan Freeman, I'd actually be down for that.
Just it ends up getting like they switch off narrators. It starts off with Morgan Freeman, then it ends up with Liam Neeson. Just literally,
yeah.
It's like and Krong's friend was wondering, where was his friend taken? He was thinking, I don't know what kind of species you are, but I know that I have a particular set of skills.
Like, it's just, it's a
and one of those includes grazing.
One of those includes grazing. Now, so after playing the game, for as much as we've played it, because again, if any of you don't know, we've played the game on Those Guys Play, our Let's Play YouTube channel. You can go check that out there. Now, the game is horrendous, but not only is it horrendous, it's so strange because, like, okay, I understand you don't want to start off the game with Aladar with his lemur friends and all of them dying.
Right.
But at the same time, the way you start it, because we had to cut out some cutscenes because we can't play those because if you don't know the game, it doesn't use animated cutscenes. It uses the clips from the movie, which is something. It's a big no-no on YouTube. So we had to skip through that, right? And it was crazy to me because I'm kind of like sitting here like I guess the cutscenes do help, yes, but still in a way it doesn't feel like. I don't know. It feels like you're still detached. And again, I know I missed the cutscenes. I get it. But I feel like the game is really bad in comparison and how detached it is from, the film or from the story. Because, I mean, even when it's like, oh, no, you have to find your dinosaur friends. And I was like, oh, no, they're going to get split up and Alar's going to need to find them. Nah, he's just there. And they're there. And I'm like, oh, okay. Or it's just like, oh, no, you're going to have to fight those little tiny ones because they're constantly running after them. Oh no,
Right.
they barely play a part after like the first 10 minutes, because then you have to deal with the Predator. I was like, oh okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Predator, the Carnotaur. I was like, cool, okay. Like those little things really are just like the littlest shits. Like they don't matter, but in the game,
they
you're
were
literally between life and death.
It's
Thank you,
funny
Velociraptors.
because it's not even. It's funny. In the later levels, like playing the game, when we fought the those were the Velociraptors. The first ones that we fought were the one that you see in the beginning, the Oviraptor, which is an egg thief. It doesn't go after, it doesn't eat. I mean, it eats flesh. It's eating an egg, but it doesn't hunt other animals.
Right. But I had to pick something to try to like take us out at first, and then once you get through that, they're easy. Like they don't do much.
Right.
But oh, by the way, I love I don't know, I guess maybe it's a childhood thing, and I have to admit it, like it's a nostalgia thing. And granted, I may have seen this movie once. It's not a nostalgia thing for this movie, but it's nostalgia for some of these plot points where it's just like, oh, baby, gets taken from home, gets raised by another family. Family kind of looks at the baby like, oh, I don't think we can do this. And then one person in the family is like, all right, fine then. So then I guess we're going to get rid of it. And now in this case, it was like get rid of it was I'm going to drop and kill the baby. Not usual Disney fare. But still, the point is
funny. Well, not funny, but
no, I know, interesting.
But
funny in a not so fun, funny, not in a haha funny way. But it's still like it's so interesting that it's like, and then it has to get rid of the baby, and then it's just like I'm gonna get rid of the baby, the cute baby,
right,
and then doesn't get rid of it, and then it's just like watch its head. What?
Right.
I mean, just watch it, and I was like, oh, like it's I don't know. This had a very feel good feeling to it, like the movie.
Yeah.
Throughout some stuff, but it was very hard to have that feel good feeling because I mentioned way earlier in this show, right? That in this episode, that hey guys, they fucking go extinct. Also, the meteor killed a lot of them. The meteor shower killed a lot of them, and frankly, I'm kind of sitting back like, wait, shouldn't it have killed all of them? Like, were there other extinctions before the mass extinction, or did they live through the mass extinction and then didn't have water or something? Because I was taught. No, please help me, because I was taught.
Yeah.
Meteor hit, they die because of Ice Age.
Right. No, not right, but okay.
Okay.
Oh,
no, just help me out here, because I know you know.
Oh, you're going to learn today.
Please.
All right, so to the first part, you were talking whether there are other mass extinctions. Granted, the dinosaurs hadn't come along yet, but yes, there was a large mass extinction in the Permian age, which is right before the Triassic, which basically ushered in the dinosaurs.
Got it.
So there
now,
are
where does
other
Jesus
large
come
mass
into this?
extinction. Oh, here we go.
I'm sorry. Please keep going. I'm so sorry. Please keep going. I'm so sorry. Please keep going.
Matt, what about me dragging you to the bowels of Satan did not register to you earlier?
I just don't like the phrase bowels of Satan. I don't want to join your high school band.
Hey, we were metal as fuck.
I prefer listening to the flatulence of God. They're actually the Christian alternative to bowels of Satan.
Oh my God.
They're just as metal, but it's Lord's metal. It's the Lord's metal.
Okay.
What's the Lord's metal?
Right.
Wood. Oh, fucking shit.
Yeah, all right.
Please keep going.
So, the meteor that we see here seemed to be more of like a localized event, and yeah, it's supposed to mimic in a weird way. Like, I agree with you. I wish they had used like something else, like maybe a fire, like a forest fire maybe, because meteor makes you think, oh God, we're at the end of the movie, it's like they're extinct, right? But yeah, it seems to be more of like a localized event, and I mean that's happened in human history too. Like we've had large meteorites pass over Russia and explode in the air or fall. Usually they fall into the ocean, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, then whole areas can be wiped out. But yeah, like this one seemed a bit a bit larger.
No, it did, because like if it was just the lemurs, although the problem, of course, is that you'd have more Carnotaurs. Like I'm assuming, like you'd have more of everything, right? So like this was trying to mimic that, but they were still kept alive. That's why I was asking you, like,
right.
after the meteors hit the dinosaurs, were there still survivors? And then it was just like, but it's getting colder.
Well,
okay.
That's the thing. There's been a lot of speculation on, like, we've actually uncovered like a lot about, and the scientific community has uncovered a lot more about the past and that kind of thing.
Fuck that. TG Productions has found every single fossil ever. Who's going to prove us wrong except science and fact?
Right.
Anyway, right? We found every fossil ever that's ever been found. It's just us, TG Productions. Anyway, no, but seriously,
as much as I would love to claim credit for that, I can't.
No, I'm pretty sure the scientific community would hate me
and
and
would be like,
would never hire you.
Oh, God, Matt,
anyway.
What have you done?
No, but seriously, though, right? But seriously.
Yes.
Seriously. So you were saying the scientific community has uncovered, I would assume that there are gaps in when certain dinosaurs died.
Well, it's more of the ideology, or not the ideology, but the idea that it doesn't all happen all at once. It's like the meteor hits and poof, they're all dead. Like, no, it's a gradual process. Like, it was probably actually a pretty, depressing and kind of horrific in a way process, because they would have starved to death. If, the immediate blast zone was thousands of miles, yes, and it would have affected more the local area, like the asteroid that we know that struck the Earth. There's actually a crater in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, and it's been years since they've proved this, but it's basically we know pretty sure for fact that it was the site in which we believe that was the asteroid that took out the dinosaurs, quote unquote. But the blast radius, anything within those few hundred miles was gone. But around the rest of the globe, like the ashfall would have probably hit a lot of North America, South America, but like you start to look around the other side of the globe, like Asia or Europe and stuff like that, it wouldn't have been an immediate process. It would have taken maybe not years, but, years in the sense of not all life would have died out immediately. They basically went into a nuclear winter, is what I'm trying to say. And yes, it does start to get colder.
That's why I was saying colder, yeah. So, like, basically, up until they found the promised land, where they were like, or the nesting grounds, like, see, here's where all the everything is. We're all going to live forever. Before they found that, it was technically the movie. In a way. Like, obviously lemurs didn't exist. But, like, the fact that they were all walking around and there was no food and no water.
Right.
Minus what little they can try and drudge up. But it was still a problem.
Yeah.
Like, that was arguable. Like, not, obviously, I'm not trying to tell you it's an exact representation, because I know it's a Disney movie. But you I could argue, like, it looked a bit like that.
Right. And, I mean, you could argue that would be even just a normal circumstance. Like, maybe they just had a dry year, at that point, and they had to, like, because, climate takes a while to change, but weather patterns in specific areas can be changed by, certain different conditions. So, and depending on where you are in the world, which is why I like the fact that they kind of just kept it ambiguous. Like, yes, it's film. Like, the site locations are mostly like New Zealand, maybe even a few from Australia, stuff like that. But yeah,
in terms of where it was, like where it was as in on Earth when they were all dinosaurs, right? Like, because you can say, oh, it was specifically in this era. Like, I'm sure someone could talk about what era it was in. Like, or what part of what era, but in terms of, like, or maybe not, because of the different kinds of dinosaurs that they put together.
Yeah, I would argue it's probably late Jurassic, early because it's funny, it would probably be Cretaceous, but the fact that Baleen is there, although Ema even states that she's one of the last of her kind. So that's why I'd argue. But I forget exactly when Iguanodons came around. I think that was more like mid to late Cretaceous, but I could be wrong. It's been a while.
So I have a question for you. So I'm a little confused here.
Right.
Where the fuck is Flea?
So Flea is a Quetzalcoatlus, and that was the flying reptile, not a dinosaur, the flying reptile that you saw at the beginning of the movie that picked up Aladar's egg out of the river.
I know that.
That is Flea
from
the game.
But that's the thing. She was in the game. She wasn't even in the movie.
Yes.
So my voice
she
for
was
Flea
in the movie, but the game made a character for her for the game.
My voice for Flea in the game is the most accurate Flea voice. No one else has done it.
I'm gonna make this simple for me and you, and just say yes.
Thank you. Also, by the way, if Flea isn't a dinosaur, then why is she a Power Ranger? Learn your math, Tristan.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, okay. Oh God, I think I just took some mental damage. Oh.
Well, you know what's really funny? The original. Not even talking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The original source footage, Zoo Ranger, it's based off of tabletop RPGs.
Oh,
so when you were like, I took mental damage, I imagined me rolling a 20-sided die. And if I get a 15, he gets mental damage.
Pretty much.
And I just roll it, and it was 15, and you're like, my fucking head hurts. Why did he do this to me?
If you want to argue, if it's not a dinosaur, why was it part of the Power Rangers? Dude, they had a frickin' mammoth in there, too. That's a mammal!
Fuck you, they also had a saber-toothed tiger.
That, too. God damn it. They should have just been like Power Rangers, Mesozoic versus Cenozoic.
Yeah. So I'm not even going to ask you if saber-toothed tigers were there. I'm not even going to fucking ask you. Let's move on.
Okay.
Flintstones told me they were. Anyway, so.
God damn it.
Anyway, Flintstones is canon, right? That's how things work. Anyway, but yeah, no, Disney's Dinosaur. So some of it obviously. So it wasn't accurate in terms of obviously it I was just asking more so if it was accurate in certain ways because I wanted to know about the fallout because again now that you tell it to me I kind of remember of course the Meteor didn't immediately kill every single one, but it was just the idea that it's the end of the movie. In its own way, it kind of feels like it's like an Aladar fever dream. And then I found a lady, and we were all happy in the end.
Yeah.
And it's just cool. Although the ending narration was pretty sad. It was at least we'll be remembered. And it's because I'm oh, okay.
Well, it's funny.
You don't know you're going to die. But
That's why I really did enjoy, this movie because it's a kid's movie, yes, but it still shows that, life is life and sometimes there is loss. And they did it in a tasteful way. They didn't do it death all up in your face kind of thing. In the beginning of the movie when the Carnotaur catches up with that monoclonius, which is another ceratopsian. I believe they were monoclonius. They didn't actually have a horn spike on the front of their face. They just had the large bump, the bone mass.
Of course.
Yeah.
I just don't fucking know. I'm yes.
I know.
Well, no, you can tell me right now. You're
visually. Come on.
No. I just love it. You just you could literally tell me one of them is a Matsodicosaurus, and I'm yeah.
Right. I know. But I wouldn't do that to you because you know who I am, and you know me.
I know. You're too honest.
Exactly. Because if I did that, I would be killing myself inside slowly.
Oh, I thought you burst into laughter. That one's the Matsostupidus.
No,
I'm trying not to laugh.
I'd just be slowly dying inside. Why am I doing this?
But so I have a weird question. So
okay.
Krong, right?
Yes.
When he was trying to take down Aladar and like trying to get Nira to come with him, why did he gently? Why did he gently nibble on Aladar's neck? Was there like a thing there that I don't know about? Is it a subplot? Is there like fan fiction that I don't know about? Gently. No, I'm making a joke because obviously he doesn't have arms to like slap him in the face, so like he can't punch him.
Right.
So he bites him, but because
Right.
he's not like I don't know, like the way the bite looks, it just looks like it's just like a tender love, like I love you.
I mean,
No, there's not much you can do otherwise.
He didn't break Aladar's hide by biting him, but I would still argue that was painful. Like,
I know, it looks like a soft bite. No, I think what it is, too, is the fact that the CGI at the time
looks
and everything.
That way, right, and it also looks that way because we've seen what a carnivore's bite does. So,
Yeah, looks like a love tap, a love nibble.
Right.
Oh, I want to mention Suri, because I mentioned her earlier, right?
Right.
Her voice, her actress, Hayden Panettiere, or Panettiere? Yeah, sure. Hayden Leslie Panettiere. Now, you might be wondering, okay, and, like, who is she? She's been in some other Disney productions. Now, I don't think you'll know her. I mean, she was Dot in A Bug's Life, if that means anything to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means something to you.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Because it doesn't to me.
Because Bug's Life is definitely up there, too, for Pixar.
Well, you might love her more in something else. She was Kyrie in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Huh.
She was Kyrie in Kingdom Hearts. And then she was Xeon or Zon in Dream Drop Distance. Xion in Dream Drop Distance.
No. Oh, maybe that might be a different character then. Never mind. I thought you were going to say 358 Days over 2.
No. She was Kyrie and she was Xion or Sean in Dream Drop Distance. And they used her as archive footage in the final chapter prologue, and also they used Kyrie archive footage in both of the HD remixes. Anyway, I just thought that you would like to know that, because in my head, also apparently she makes albums. Anyway, she's a singer. But still, I thought you would really like the Kyrie thing, because I was like, she sounded familiar. I was like, why does she sound familiar? And I'm like, looking through it, I'm like, oh my God! Because Kingdom Hearts was my childhood, right? Like, honestly, I'm going to be very real here. It's something I'd want to play on the show one day. I don't know, with you or with someone else. But I love to play on, that on those guys' play. So, like, I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, what has she done? Because it sounds familiar. Kyrie!
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, in the background, right? It's just like, oh, no. It's like carnivores. And I'm like, when you walk away.
Oh, my God.
Like, as I fucking just see it said Kyrie. Like, that's it. That's all it took, dude.
Nice.
So that might have been a problem. I might have a problem. But yeah, and also, yes, she was in, I don't remember much about A Bug's Life. That's why Dot, to me, it's just like, that's just a name. But I'm sure, yeah, to you, you're like, oh, my God. But isn't it so funny? It's like, when you work with Disney, if you're that good, if you're good enough, they'll remember you. Like, they will not forget.
Right.
So I found that funny. But yeah, so moving back to the film itself, yeah, I know I really enjoyed this movie, and it's more than I guess because I came into it with such low expectations because of the game. And because it was a movie that I didn't remember, so if I had seen it once, or my little brothers had seen it and I saw it with them, or whatever it may be, if I'm not sitting here going like, oh, but Disney's Dinosaur, again, like, you come in with low expectations because you remember a lot of other movies from when you were 8. At least I do.
Right.
Like, I'll sit around and I'm like, oh, my God, this was amazing. This is great. But then, like, this one I didn't. So it was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know how it went. All right. And then, it's so interesting. Because then I watch it now, and I'm like, wait, nope, actually, it's really good.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, it's actually, I mean, not really good, but it isn't, I don't think it's terrible. Like, it could be, like, in my opinion, it's like, this could have been really, really bad for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what else?
I
Anything
did
else you'd like to say about the film? I don't want to end it right now.
Yeah.
But like anything else you want to say?
Yeah,
about the film?
no. Just like film-wise, I really enjoyed the soundtrack for this movie.
Oh, it was so good. Like this soundtrack. It's funny. I was going to say something stupid. You know what really makes you like connect? No, it doesn't. It really makes you feel like you're in. No, it doesn't. Like this does not make me feel like I'm in their era with them. Like no.
It makes you feel like a dinosaur.
Yeah, well, it makes me feel the passion and the intensity, whatever's going on, right? Like there are certain composers that literally, like you know how they say, oh, certain actors are so good they could just read from the phone book,
right?
And it'll be an amazing performance. There are certain composers that they could compose that scene, and it would just be an amazing, a performance, like just amazing music, background music and stuff like that. And this is one of those films.
Right.
Where I fell in love with the soundtrack so much. So like I want to see who composed the music because it was wonderful. But please keep on talking about the music because I loved it so much.
I mean, I feel like one of the biggest things for it is it really gives you that the feeling of, oh God, I'm trying to think of the right word to describe it. I guess the gravity of the landscape, like as you're going over it, like the music moves as you move over the landscape, or if there's a conflict going on, it really does fit with it. And they use a lot of orchestral and classical and big big booming sounds when it needed to be. There's such a better and more elegant way to put all that, and I'm not coming up with the right words to do it.
I understand. No. Believe me, even though you're not, I'm not going to say you're wrong. Even though you're not, it's like I understand completely because it's all of that and more. Now, what I want to say is the person who composed the track, right, or the soundtrack, was James Newton Howard. Now, interesting about James Newton Howard, he also composed the scores for later films from Disney, like Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and Treasure Planet. Also, the song "The Egg Travels" Yes, The Egg Travels was heard in a few different trailers, like Lilo and Stitch, Around the World in 80 Days, and the Wild Thornberrys movie. So you may have seen it, like the Lilo and Stitch trailer as a kid, and heard the track "The Egg Travels," which, I mean, I'm sure you're going to listen to it after the show's over. But you may have heard that track, which came from Disney's Dinosaur. So it's funny. Without that, you wouldn't have the track for Lilo and Stitch, which I don't think would have affected Lilo and Stitch much, but you still wouldn't have had it either way.
Yeah.
But, yes. Oh, and if you're wondering, okay, so apparently I'm looking at some other things that he's done, music with, for, whatever you want to look at it. Let's see here. It says a series of unfortunate events. Some of you may have heard of that one. It's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Okay, whatever.
Oh shit.
The small time stuff, The Hunger Games.
what are you talking about? Small time stuff. Fuck you.
Took him fucking long enough. Jesus, he thought I was right. He believed me for 5 seconds, folks.
There we go.
He believed me. What is it? No, because I see like Green Lantern. I'm like, don't want to talk about it. Green Hornet. Don't want to talk about it as much. He replaced Danny Elfman. Don't want to talk about it as much. The Last Airbender. Let's stop talking. Let's shut down the podcast.
We started out so good, and now we're just progressively going down.
There's a lot of things that we complained about when we saw that movie. It was not the soundtrack.
Right.
Oh, Batman Begins. Huh. Does that mean that he also did, and he did The Dark Knight? Wow. Well, okay. He didn't. He composed it with Hans Zimmer, but still. This man seems to have done a lot of good things.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, it just makes sense. Like, after watching, you watch the movie, but you listen to the music in the movie, and you're like, man, this is really good. It's not his only, Space Jam.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
There we go.
She's pulling out
yeah.
Space Jam.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, right. I know. It's very. I like it a lot because again, obviously there's a lot of movies here. We're not going to name them all, but just naming those few, you're like, oh, like because again, you can complain about a lot in this movie if you want to. Like if you really want to sit there and start to really complain about The Sixth Sense as well. Holy shit, he did Sixth Sense. Anyway, you want to complain about a lot of things in this. I'm sorry, that's relevant, Tristan. You can complain about a lot of things, right? If you wish. But the fact that, like, I don't think you can complain about the music at all, and it really gets you into any moment that it's in. That's just my take on it. Yeah. So, is there anything you do want to mention about the film specifically? Because I do think that, because of how little there really was in the movie, I don't really think there's much else we need to talk about. Other than the fact that, because here's the funny thing, right? Yes, it was a paper-thin movie, yes, but, like, I have to admit, I don't think 40 minutes would have added much to it with the way they set up the film.
Right.
Like, you know how there's certain movies where you look at the way they set up a movie and it's an hour and 20, and you're like, no, that really needed 40 more minutes, like, or something to kind of just develop it. With the way they set up this film, we're like, oh, you're going from point A to point B. I don't think 40 minutes would have done much. In fact, I think it would have hurt it. So, I mean, is there anything you want to say about the film? I mean, you can also react to what I just said, right? If you think, like, it would have helped better, maybe the movie should have had a different plot a little bit here and there. But, like, I don't know. Like, how do you feel about that exactly?
I mean,
like,
I feel like I agree in the sense that more time wouldn't have done anything for it, but I guess it's weird in a way. In a way, I agree. Yeah, the plot is kind of thin as compared to other, even other, Disney movies. But I feel like there's still some good, like, there are still some good messages in there, and it's funny, like, I had mentioned, there are two things I wanted to hit on that I mentioned earlier. One of them was watching this movie again and, remembering the stuff that I liked about it as a kid and remembering it now. Because I don't know. I don't know any other way to put it. It's a little embarrassing, but, like, really connecting with Aladar, because he's the one who's trying to do the right thing for everybody. And that's not always necessarily the easiest thing to do. Like, he could very well go off on his own and be fine. Like, if he just looked out for himself like, Krong did, Aladar would be fine. He's, young and spry kind of thing, and he can handle himself. But he looks out for, the other dinosaurs in the herd that need a little more time or a little bit of help. Or, he even keeps his lemur family, his extended family, along with him. I mean, granted, yes, it's a Disney movie, so of course he wouldn't be like, all right, guys, see you later, I'm out. But, but, like, that's the thing. Like, he stands up for what he thinks is right, and it's not necessarily the easier thing for him to choose to do. And along with, working together, with a group that you're in can really help everyone out. The ideas of, I know Disney movies do this, and a lot of movies do this, but, like, kids' movies kind of try to dance around it a little bit. Like, they introduce a concept of loss and death, and even destruction in a way, but it's done in a way that you sometimes see that in nature. Like, it's natural. Sometimes these things happen. And it's just part of how the world is. And in a way, yes, that can be scary, or that could be something that you don't really want to think about, but it's still there, and I'm glad they kind of tried to portray that a little bit, at least. In the end, yes, it's still happy and everybody lives and blah, blah, blah. But even, like you said, even the end narration is like, we can only hope that our time here is remembered. And a little bittersweet, but I really love that line in the sense of, yes, their time on this planet is gone, but we still remember them being, it really boggles my mind sometimes thinking about it. It's like we're another species on this planet that is looking back through millions of years of history and just awing at the things that have lived on this planet. And, argue about other species' intelligence levels all you want and how you measure intelligence, but, obviously we don't know, and we'll never know. We probably never will know, but, there's a certain sentiment to paying homage to those that came before you, even if they might necessarily never know. And I know that's, I don't know, that's pretty, I guess, kind of deep for a Disney kids movie, but I don't know.
No, but
that's
it really
this
was
is the stuff that I thought about even as a kid when I watched it, and for whatever reason, when I had seen this just recently again, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just watching it like, just another movie. But now I actually thought about this stuff again, and it really brought that connection back and why I actually do love this movie.
Yeah. No, because, again, that's just the end, like that last line. That's a really crazy thing to end it on, especially amongst all the really happy, lines that they had where, even stuff that, was a bit too much where I'm just like, all right, look, I know Zinni's never really gotten a girl in his life, but, why are you basically having them be like, you're literally the last one left. Jump him, all of us, yay. It's like, guys, relax.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a point, it's funny, there was a point where I feel like some of them, if they are part of the same tribe, which I don't think they are, but if they are, or part of the same group, those other lemurs weren't part of the same group that he was in?
I mean, they were, I know Yar, the grandfather figure, he says that they're part of, their clan, I guess. But usually even within, I'm trying to remember my primatology and some of the courses I took in anthropology, but even within a group of lemurs, depending on what species you're looking at, and I believe these were based off of the ringtail species in Madagascar, if I remember correctly. But so their specific social structure might be is probably a little different than what's portrayed here, obviously. But what I mean to get at is that a social group isn't necessarily a related family. There are usually many different individuals that will be in a troop.
No, but I'm still saying that, they were with him on the island is what I'm saying before everything went down, potentially.
Right.
Potentially. That was my point, because of the whole fact that these were probably women, lemurs, still women that were just sitting there not even if you were the last lemur on Earth, and it's just stick to your principles.
Right. Well, no, I think the ones that you see at the end of the movie, I really do believe that they're a different group. They are not from the island because, as far as you are led to believe, nobody else got off the island except for Aladar and his extended family.
Oh, yes, but then they were asking, as if, maybe some of them escaped through different routes. That's that was, their hope. I mean, you're right, though. We've never been told one way or the other. They just assume that they're all dead. Which is, again, lovely Disney imagery.
Yeah.
Lovely imagery. Question: when all of the dinosaurs were like, "Hey, we're gonna scream at you real loud," is there any basis in that?
Oh, I'm actually glad you asked me that because I figured you might.
No, I feel like I should before we end everything.
There is a basis behind that because think of a lion going after a herd of wildebeest. The lion does not go after the strongest or even goes after a herd. A carnivore doesn't go after a whole herd of animals. That is how you get killed.
Yes,
you
but
go
here's
after.
The thing, though.
Yeah.
I would argue that most of them, though, it's interesting. like at least like Aladar. Aladar doesn't eat meat; he eats plants.
Mm-hmm.
However, yes, he does have
He's a
teeth.
herbivore.
So I guess like
There's a word
herbivore. Yeah. So yeah. No, I know. No shit. But still, my point is that he's not. He's not a carnivore. He's not an omnivore. He's a herbivore. Matt knows his shit.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. But the point is that he still has teeth. Yes. So obviously the teeth are there to defend himself if need be against other carnivores. But it's just very interesting to me that like he didn't attack them all. Because I don't know, to me, even if they're all like raw, he's like, listen, I know that you're a herd, but I still feel like I could win. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I get it, though. It makes sense. Like, if he sees one, and it's one versus – that's why it was better if if Krong had stayed with the herd. Because if he was with the herd –
Right. Exactly. And it's part of, like – it's part of a psychology, actually. Like, it's more of a psychological offense than it is an actual physical standoff because the herd is a huge body. And a carnivore does not want to take on more than they think they can handle. Like
exactly.
That's why I like the movie in the sense that it sticks to like actual principles of animals and survival.
So, question though, if there was more than one of them there, like if it was the standard two, like there used to be, or if there were three, do you think they would have not given a shit because they consider themselves a herd of two or three? I know a herd is more than three, but still, like you understand my principle. And them being the stronger, larger dinosaur.
Yes, right. If there were two or three, they might have tried to be a little more aggressive towards the herd, but even still, it's the mentality of the carnivore isn't going to go after a group. It's going to single out one who is either sick or weakened or young or old.
Course.
Yeah, because that's the easier target, and there's less of a risk of getting hurt. Because that's the last thing you want to happen. Like, if you get hurt out in the wild, you are screwed. You are literally screwed.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I'm thinking of this with a very different mentality because to me it's like, no, but they're the bigger and the stronger. Okay, and they make it out alive. Most of them are dead, and their leg is broken. Fuck you gonna do?
Right. Exactly.
It's like, right, what are you gonna do if your leg is broken?
And that's why when he notices Krong struggling up the wall, he's like, boom, easy target. Fuck this, I'm out. Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
And it's
because
funny,
I have to admit, I think kids wouldn't get that.
Well,
and I know it's
I
like,
guess.
Matt, you didn't. But like, no, but still, what I'm saying is like, in my opinion, I feel like a kid would be like, but that's the bigger one, so it should fight them. Why would he just run away to take that one? Why would you not run away in general? And it's like, no, because it's hungry.
Okay.
You're saying like it's not going to.
Yeah.
To me, it's like you. Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would argue that take a little bit more explaining, or maybe a kid to have seen something about it in a book or something like that. But I think we should give kids a little more credit too. Like, I think they could understand a principle like that pretty easily. Like, and I'm not saying that you're saying that children don't have the comprehension, but I get what you mean. And like, they're there to see a movie. They're not thinking about like specifically the science behind it. Like, I get that.
Well, no, because the thing is, the kid could sit there and be like, oh, there's a lot of them. That makes sense. There's a lot of them. There's only one of him. But other kids could be like, but he has the biggest teeth.
Yeah.
Like, none of the other dinosaurs looked like enforcers, minus the ones that were already taken out working with Krong.
Right.
Every other dinosaur looked like another one in the herd. Like, I would argue
the herbivores do have defenses, arguably. Like, not as gnarly as, a huge mouth of teeth. But, because iguanodons have an actual, like, bony spike on their forelimbs. That's why when Krong and Aladar are fighting, that's why it looks like he's raising his forelimb up in the air. It's like he was going to come down with the spike on the side of his foot, I guess you would still call it, because all they have is feet. But yeah, and also the ceratopsians, the maybe not so much monoclonius, but even that large bulge of bone on their head. Like, if you ram that into, say, the Carnotaur's leg, that's gonna hurt.
All right,
You know?
so it's a bit different than my thought, because my thought process behind it was, before I realized that you have so many defense mechanisms, it's like, these are all the sheep in the herd, and there's one lion, and all the sheep are like, bah, bah, oh no, a bunch of sheep. Well, I can't take down them all.
Right.
And it's like, no, you can't take down them all because they have spikes and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, you can take down maybe one or two.
And plating and
Mm-hmm,
I would argue some of the Parasaurolophus that you see in there, they have the long tubes coming off of their head. Like, they don't necessarily have much in the way of a defense mechanism, so... But then again, that's why you're in a herd.
Exactly.
There's strength and safety in numbers. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, then. So we're going to end things on that note. That's why you're in a herd, children. And so we're going to... That's why you travel as a class, children, to beat people up.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
That's why we have classes. That's why we don't teach people individually. Anytime you're in a class, you're representing that herd. So that's a message
taking
even
the
for
lesson
some of our
into
college
a different direction, Matt.
viewers.
This is not what I wanted to teach the audience today.
It's us versus them. Fight the other herds.
Oh, damn it. And there it goes.
Why is this happening?
There it goes!
My God. All right, anyway, so I just want to say...
I don't want to get in trouble tonight. Anyway.
God damn it, stop it. Oh, my God. All right, so I want to thank you all for listening in, as always. I want to mention that I mentioned earlier we have our YouTube channel, Those Guys Play. You can find us there. We're also on, not only can you listen to our podcast through Those Guys on the Radio, which is our Blog Talk Radio account, you can also listen to us through our iTunes account, Those Guys, search that up, or you can listen to our older stuff via our YouTube channel, Those Guys on the Radio, search that up on YouTube. You can also find, I mentioned our Let's Plays. You can also, what can you also do? Oh, you can also get some of our merchandise over at thoseguysontheradio.tumblr.com/merchandise, and we have a lot of stuff there related to our podcast and our Let's Plays, and just a lot of other fun stuff. You can also, by the way, find all of our new episodes, podcasts, and Let's Plays over there. You can also find them through our social media accounts if you want to be kept up to date on those guys' stuff. Because you also might, have some updates on us going to cons or what, podcasts we're going to do in the future and stuff like that. So you could actually go check out our Facebook, which is /ThoseGuysOnTheRadio, our Twitter, which is @ThoseGuysRadio, and our Instagram, which is /ThoseGuysOnTheRadio. Also, you can go to our Patreon, which is TG Productions, and you can support us there. And supporting us there, by the way, doesn't just help support us and help support our Blog Talk Radio account, or helps us, bring more games to you by being able to modify some of our systems to be able to capture them, or just getting certain systems, right? It's not just that. You could also actually get something out of it yourself, right? So not just our amazing games, but what you can help do is you can also say, hey, all right, so I'm giving X amount. I would like you to play this specific game with a specific host. Or, I'm giving you this amount. What I would really like for you to do is I would like for you to do a podcast. And podcast could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about like a movie like Disney Dinosaur. It could be like, what are your top 5 favorite dinosaurs? And I'll sit there and I'll be like, T-Rex. And then Tristan will give you a highly detailed list on all the dinosaurs he loves. Right? So it doesn't have to just be about a specific movie or video game or TV show. It can be about certain topics, like, top 5 favorite anime, top 5 favorite Dragon Ball Z characters or something like that. The list, it can be about anything, right? So it doesn't just have to be about a specific movie or video game or television show or something like that. So again, you want to donate to us and get something out of it. Also, you can be a sponsor of ours, so we can give you a shout out on either the podcast or the Let's Plays. So a lot of fun stuff that we can do for you guys. And again, just go to our TG Productions Patreon account. Throw some dollars our way, and we can do that for you as well. So, and that is about it. So I want to thank you guys for watching, as always, or listening, whichever one you're doing. And this was actually a lot more fun than I thought it'd be. I'll say that much. I understand the criticisms, but a lot more fun than I thought it'd be. So thank you, Tristan, for introducing me to Disney's Dinosaur. Never thought I'd say that with a straight face.
Yay! That legit actually makes me happy.
Happy to hear it. I made Tristan happy. That's a new one. Thank you, Tristan. All right, then. So thank you all, as always, and say good night, Tristan.
So guess that's good night, everyone.
Yes. Good night, everyone.
Okay. Oh God.